ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
First at 11, escalating crime and the fear of crime impacting communities of New Providence as the country approaches the holiday season, which has been synonymous with an uptick in certain categories of crime. And another man killed in the capital as authorities seek to combat crime with new initiatives. Also, CARICOM expressing serious concerns over the transitional governance process in Haiti. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Royson Jones, and this is the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's nearing the end of the year, and there are some residents, particularly here in the capital, who unfortunately remain in the fear of the escalating crime wave plaguing various communities. Topping the list is a high number of homicides now on record, which sits over 100. Authorities attribute this to retaliation, gangs, and conflicts. On tonight's edition of The Rundown with Clint Watson, Police Press Liaison Officer, Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings detail the crucial impact of these scenarios.
We have found in recent times, Bahamian males especially, they're not sitting down to discuss what the issues are. As opposed to talking through it or finding a mediator. They're taking things into their own hands and they're feeling that, okay, if I just end this, the problem goes away. Reality is that the problem is not going to go away when you do that. It's actually going to escalate the problem, because now you're going to find that friends and family members, and this is where the retaliation comes in. You'll find that family and friends, they now get involved and the situation blossoms and it gets out of control.
And police do have a plan they hope can put a dent in this crime war.
We now need to create centers where we can actually have persons go into and to provide them with the skills needed to resolve conflicts. Remember now, we also have community counseling and assessment. We have social services. We have all these counseling agencies. We now need to put a program in place where parents, where we see, especially with the children who are at risk, to put them in sessions now where we can teach them how to resolve their conflicts. In the schools now, it may be necessary to actually make conflict resolution a part of the curriculum.
The usual quiet residential community of Monastery Park abruptly disturbed last night as it became the scene of the country's latest homicide. A male victim left dead in the street along Kildare Drive around 11. The man, according to police, got into an altercation, though the motivation was unclear, before he was eventually shot and stabbed. The man, believed to be in his late 30s or early 40s, suffered multiple injuries. On the scene of last night's incident, officer in charge of the Northeastern Division, Chief Superintendent Antonio Monroe, provided limited details about the circumstances surrounding this killing.
What I can say at this point, based on information received, is that there was a white Japanese vehicle to the eastern side of Kildare. They had what appears to be an altercation with the deceased male. Gunshots were fired, and that vehicle proceeded west along Kildare. I would assume going directly to Bayard Road.
Police were unable to provide many details about the altercation that led to the man's death, nor the number of people believed to have been involved. Police Press Liaison Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings again appealed to men to work harder at resolving their conflicts.
You need to put your egos aside. Put your macho-ness aside. Because once you fail to exhibit patience, we're going to see this continuing to happen. I don't want to see another young man killed.
A landlord-tenant dispute that ended in a stabbing and another domestic altercation on Hewler Street off Blue Hill Road in a known Black Hill Village, resulting in an increased police presence there. Our Daniel Dean joined officers in a police walkabout in the area this morning.
We have a number of abandoned homes in our community that we need assistance with moving some of the homes that they're using for safe haven for criminal activities. Also, derelict vehicles. Also, in certain streets, certain areas. They're also using them for hiding.
National Neighborhood Council Chairman Jason Fitzgerald got the ball rolling when it came to giving police ideas on how to curtail crime. The Black Village Police Walkabout on Thursday was conducted with this goal in mind.
We always want to know how people feel about the police within their areas, in their communities, in where they work, where they live, where they have to go and play. We always want to have that sort of a dialogue with residents, the business community and the residential.
Police Assistant Superintendent Dion Kingsley Brown Sr. warns that on top of efforts to prevent murder, this season brings in increased amounts of armed robbery cases.
On Thursday, the 21st of this month, we'll be having a crime symposium. Our topics will be stolen vehicles, armed robberies, and domestic violence. The persons who are going to be speaking on it are persons who deal with this on a day-to-day basis.
Police officials implore the community to attend the event set to take place at Central Church of Christ in Yellow Elder between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Meantime, an investigation is underway into an alleged sexual assault incident involving a 40-year-old woman. The incident took place around 3 a.m. Wednesday. Initial reports indicate that two men sexually assaulted the woman inside a business on Soldier Road. An investigation into this matter continues. Police here in the capital also trying to find out what led to two individuals, a 19-year-old man and a 23-year-old woman, being stabbed in separate incidents. The man was on Blue Hill Road near a school shortly before 9 o'clock last night when he sustained injuries and was later transported to hospital. Meantime, the woman was on Fox Hill Road near a park during the exact same time of the first incident when she was stabbed and treated by emergency medical personnel. Police say both of their injuries are not life-threatening. Still to come, a new housing division sub-named. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in a moment.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Losing your furniture to costly termite damage? You need Rentokil Initials Drop and Go Furniture Fumigation, the only service like it in the Bahamas. Simply drop your furniture at a fumigation container located at 5th Terrace, Centerville, and collect your termite-free piece within days. Sealed with our termite-free guarantee. Fast, convenient, affordable. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
CARICOM tonight expressing grave concern over the transitional governance process in Haiti, with every hope of having an early meeting with its new Prime Minister, Alex Fields-Ami, and continued talks with Haiti's leaders. CARICOM stressing in a release that the pressure of the approaching deadlines for attaining major objectives of the transition process, coupled with the conduct of free and fair elections and the seating of a new and democratically elected government, is becoming increasingly urgent. As far as it sees things, while CARICOM stands ready to work with Haiti's leaders, cohesion, coherence, and accountability are critical ingredients to the ultimate success of the transition moving ahead. The UN estimates that more than 3,000 Haitians have been killed and 500,000 displaced this year alone. There have been some concern raised and a lot of questions asked about the new extension of stay for visitors application process, which took effect almost 2 months ago. Tonight, Corval Pyfram speaks to immigration about the new policy, and it turns out there may be much ado about nothing.
Immigration officials hoping to put an end to misgivings arising from the new $200 non-refundable application fee for all extension of stay applications implemented back in September. Nothing, the department insists, about the new policy impedes the process.
Nothing has changed. The Bahamas government and indeed Parliament would have initiated a processing fee for all visitors extension and that is law. That is not something that the Immigration Department arbitrarily did. That was done by Parliament. Therefore, that's across the board.
Assistant Director of Immigration Rudolph Ferguson attempting to set the record straight about the extension program for visitors. Very little has changed, he says. Applicants are still required to be interviewed in person by an extension officer. And the same documents like passports, proof of payment, return tickets, and immigration landing cards must be provided. He warns, though, that extensions are not guaranteed. And again, that $200 fee is non-refundable.
The government has made a determination that all persons entering will be granted 30 days across the board. If you choose to stay in the Bahamas as a visitor beyond that period of time, then you will come in for what we call an extension of your visitor's stay.
Assistant Director Ferguson determines the changes are mostly minimal, but are essential to better streamlining the process. He does not expect there to be much inconveniences for those applying, especially when they are eligible.
You must be cognizant of the fact that there are other mitigating factors involved in this as to the security of our country. We're just not going to allow any and all persons to come in without taking our security into consideration.
The fee, the director confirms, can be paid through an online portal, and persons can apply anywhere in country. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Hard hats, ribbons, shovels, wide smiles, handshakes, and neatly wrapped sweet treats don't normally go together. But in the case of one James Hamilton, they're the perfect matchup. Mukush Lapinder explains.
James Hamilton has seen his fair share of construction sites. After all, for years, he's made a living as a contractor. His dedication, leadership, and master craftsmanship leading to countless Bahamians realizing the dream of home ownership. But this time around, all the rocks and rubble and shovel were for him, as Arawak Homes put shovels in the ground for its newest subdivision in honor of a man who's been building houses for more than 40 years, starting out as a drywall specialist.
People in the construction industry sometimes get overlooked, but it's the people in this industry that help to build everything around us. It's the people that take several vacant lots and make it a place for people to live. It's people like Mr. James Hamilton who don't just talk about nation building, but are actually building a nation. By naming this community after Mr. James Hamilton, when some people ask, where do you live? They would say, I live in James Hamilton Close.
James Hamilton Close sits in southwest New Providence, just off Carmichael Road. The community comprises 14 single and multi-family lots. The honoree, whose children continue his rich legacy, couldn't be more delighted. Construction's to begin as early as January 2025.
Today is recognized globally as World Diabetes Day, and here at home, health officials are doing their part to heighten awareness through education. Officials held a one-day symposium on the subject at St. Gregory's Anglican Church on Carmichael Road. Carla Palmer reports.
The serious problems once you have a non-communicable disease, you are at risk for it.
Long before the Diabetes Association was established in the Bahamas in 1986, health officials have been mounting education campaigns like the symposium held this Thursday because diabetes is a health concern warned about for decades. The problem prevalent at home, as approximately more than 46,000 people here in the Bahamas, or 11.6% of the population, have diabetes, and over 27,000 people, or 6.7%, are pre-diabetic. In fact, it's listed as the fifth leading cause of death in the Bahamas. President of the Bahamas Diabetic Association, Lindiana Ramming, says the prevalence has increased over the years from 6.7% in 2005 to 13.9% in recent years.
Once you're colored, you are at risk for it. Once you're obese, you are so much family history. So we are all at risk for diabetes. The thing is, 90% of persons are type 2 diabetic, and which it's reversible, but you have to be disciplined. You have to want to change.
The solution, she says, is simple: a change of habits. Make a change in lifestyle of nutrition and exercise.
We have a sedentary lifestyle. We don't exercise. So, and the stress and all these contributing factors. You're thinking before you eat. You're thinking before you drink. and you're planning. So you're looking at right food, right portions at the right time. 3 meals a day. But you must think about what you're eating. Should I have a chocolate versus a fruit? Should I drink soda versus water?
While the statistics may change from year to year, the advice remains the same. Pay attention to your health and do what's necessary to preserve it. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus.
Coming up in sports for tonight, we'll take a look at the beautiful homecoming return of Jonquel Jones to Grand Bahama. Details ahead in sports.
Over a decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long, yet the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Just what is it that you want to do? And we want to have a good time. We want to be free to do what we want to do.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check late night edition, everyone. I'm Marcellus Hall. It was time to return home for champion Jonquel Jones, the WNBA champion, the New York Liberties, and championship MVP, I may add, returning to home soil to much fanfare and joy, saying afterwards it was just great to be back home.
We spent a lot of time on the phone between my team, him, speaking directly to him as well, just to try to make sure that we could pull this off and be able to come home and celebrate this and just really have a great time, because it's not often that, a championship is won. It's not often that it's a Bahamian player. It's not often that it's someone from Grand Bahama. It's not often that it's someone from the Rocks. So it really feels good to come home and be embraced in this way, and to have people just cherish you, because there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. And so especially as a woman athlete, a lot of times we get overlooked and we don't get the things that we deserve. So to come back to the place where you were born and bred and where people poured so much into you, it feels really good to be welcomed in that way and to be received in that way.
Now, Grand Bahama MP Ginger Moxie ecstatic to have Jones back home.
All that you do for the community, all that you do for the Bahamas, and what you do for the game. And so we just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back home to celebrate with us, because, we wanted to be on that parade ourselves. So we're so delighted.
GSSSA High School Volleyball Best of 3 Championships getting started yesterday at the Kendall Isles Gym. On the junior girls side, H.O. Nash going up against S.C. McPherson. Nash gets the win in straight sets, 25-21, 25-12. They take a 1-0 lead in that series. Head coach Patty Johnson likes to win.
SC has a very good team, and they did a very good job. Those kids are all right. My kids today, they came to play, but little girls are very moody. So one day you'll see one thing, and then the next day, oh man, help us. But today they did exactly what we were taught.
Junior girls, H.O. Nash again facing S.C. McPherson. This one going 3 sets, but Nash once again coming out on top. They take the lead in the series. Head coach Sydney Justilian glad for the win, but felt her boys were not composed.
I feel the boys was a bit shaky today. We normally play better than that, but I know it's the first game, and They look scared. So I'm hoping tomorrow will be a better game.
Senior division starting with the girls as C.I. Gibson squared off against GHS. Rattlers take this one in 2 sets, 25-21, 25-21. Coach Kayvon Newbold says her team just wanted it more.
I think that at the end of the day that they dig deep and they wanted it much better and much harder than Government High. I am very good with that performance. I'm very happy with the way how they performed. When they were down, they stuck deep and they didn't give up. And that's one of the things that I really push in them, that they will continue to fight no matter what.
And the final game of the day saw C.I. Walker Knights battling their way to a 3-set victory over C.I. Gibson, 25-24, 21-25, and 15-13. Now, despite the win, head coach Trevor Grant displeased with the championship format.
We came with a strategy, and the strategy pays off in the long run. But the problem is what we have now is you playing one game after the next game. We don't have no time to sit back and coach and get iron out your king. It seems like everybody just want to rush through a season, and once it finished, it finished. You understand? If we don't have no help, we talk to the association, they're not listening. We talk to the ministers, they're not listening. You understand? We are ready, except they let us play 7 games. But why we don't have a break in between every game in the championship for us to regroup and talk to your players.
And that's it. You look at sports for you here on this Thursday. Our Thursday weather just ahead. Stay with us.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
It's time now for a weather check with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good night, Basil.
Good night, Royster. We'll get you started in the tropics, and we have Tropical Storm Sarah, which formed in the Caribbean Sea. It's moving towards the west at about 10 miles per hour, and should that high-pressure system remain in place, well, it will continue to move towards the west, towards the Yucatan Peninsula, where weakening will take place. However, if that high pressure retreats towards the east, which some of the models are suggesting, we could see an early turn towards the north and then eventually to the northeast, which will threaten the Florida Peninsula and the northwest Bahamas later in the week. So we'll keep our eyes on the system very, very closely. And this is the 2 scenarios that we just spoke about, one taking it westward, and that's provided that high pressure remains in place, that early turn towards the north, bringing it into the northwestern parts of the country later in the week. We're looking at about Thursday or so. Temperatures around the islands, Marshall, Babaco, Greentown, Key, and Freeport, all at 72 degrees. The Berry Islands, 78. Alderstown, Bimini, 77. In Harbor Island, Mercury Column at 77 degrees, Rock, Sandy Lucha 75, Fresh Creek, Central Andros 78, small 78s in Kemp Space out of Andros, Black Point, Exuma, and Alderstown, Cat Island. San Salvador and Rumkey 77 degrees, Georgetown, Exuma 2 degrees up at 79 degrees, 76 in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Gorman, and Acklands reporting 73, Matchitani, Niagara, a little warm at 81 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands 79 degrees. And our satellite pictures showing high pressure remains in control of our weather. Those winds will be relaxing a bit, but that will be short-lived as we have a prefrontal trough moving across the extreme northwestern parts of the country. That will be followed by a cold front on Friday evening, and that will bring us a nice cool down over the weekend. Our forecast tonight, partly cloudy conditions, 73 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow, pretty nice day. Mostly sunny and nice with a high temperature of 83 degrees. Your extended weather forecast, those beautiful weather will continue despite the passage of that front system, but you'll notice a significant change in temperatures. Saturday, high temperatures, 79 degrees right into Sunday, and those nighttime temperatures, they will be in the low 70s and possibly we can pop some upper 60s as well over the weekend. And then by the middle part of the week, we'll see clouds and showers returning to the forecast. Royston.
Thanks as always, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching, and good night.
At Tonic Williams Darling Highway, I'm Tijaro Hudson. This is ZNS.
Just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie.
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful... These eggs are good. Please, you sure make some great eggs. I'm telling you, these eggs are excellent. You enjoying your eggs, lying, little buddy?
No,
Why not, son?
because I'm eating cereal.
Hey, that's a good one. He sure got me that time, didn't he, Weezy? Did you ever hear that joke about the poor Rice Krispie that came from a broken home?
Yeah.
He had snap and crackle, but no pop. Yeah. Okay, did you hear the one about
George, would you do me a favor?
Sure, Weezy, sweetheart, what is it?
Shut up.
Come on, Weezy, lighten up, will you? You got a face like a flat tire. It ain't the end of the world, you know.
Might as well be. You took most of the pleasure out of it. Me? Yes, you. You bought that term paper for Lionel, and that's what started the big fight between him and Jenny.
But that was 3 days ago. Why are we still holding the funeral?
Because Lionel and Jenny have broken up, and because Helen won't ever speak to me again. She was my best friend. Can't you understand how serious this is?
What do you expect me to do about it? Go up and apologize to the Willisons? Okay. Okay. You'd let me go up there and make a fool of myself, wouldn't you?
No, George. God beat me to it.
Where you go?
To my room.
Again? What are you studying to be now? A hermit?
Can't you see his heart is breaking over Jenny?
He'll get over it. You miss one bus, another one comes along in a few minutes.
But Jenny is not just another bus.
Yeah, you're right. She ain't even a good skateboard.
George!
Look, Weezy, I mean, Jenny's a nice girl and all, but Lionel can do better than that. I mean, look, he's got my charm, and he's got my good looks, hasn't he?
Heaven help him.
Some sleek black limousine will come cruising into his life. Some sleek, all-black limousine. Not one of your two-tone jobs.
George, don't you know what it feels like when a girl breaks your heart?
How could I? We're still married, Weezy.
Oh, George. Will you stop making it so hard for me to stay mad at you?
Everything's going my way.
Oh.
Tom, are you all right?
Do I look all right?
I told you you shouldn't drink when you're feeling depressed.